Hi, I'm Enchanting Nubianette. Welcome back. And to those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. In today's society, there are new scams and frauds carried out every day. Amongst numerous types of frauds, here is another news story taking place in Vermilion Parish, Louisiana. Takela Mouton was married for nearly 12 years. Their 12-year anniversary would have been in November, which is a milestone in comparison to most modern couples. Takela and her husband, Kendrick Paul Francis, have 2 children, ages 9 and 14. He has 4 additional children that lived in their home. As a wife who was devoted to her spouse, a working professional, tending to their home and children, her husband did not give her any indication that he was unhappy. Well, that's her perspective. Throughout the years, Takela sincerely believed that she was in a loving marriage. Even worse, her husband's brazen mistress, LaShonda Lachelle Pope, impersonated her. Takela was stunned to learn that LaShonda received divorce documents. LaShonda had the divorce paperwork mailed to her address. LaShonda tried to ensure that the divorce would be a smooth transition, so Kendrick would be single. This woman entered their lives and willingly committed identity fraud. Instead of Takela Morton arriving to a formal meeting to complete the divorce paperwork, the mistress impersonated or pretended to be her. LaShonda Pope took Takela's place on September 22nd, 2022. Her husband is compliant. He plotted his marital demise with LaShonda. Kendrick Paul Francis hasn't attempted to take his legitimate wife's side. Allegedly, Kendrick Francis isn't able to read or write. He is illiterate. Although Kendrick formalized a plan with LaShonda to divorce Takela, he wasn't capable of reading the paperwork or providing correct data, the spelling of the names. While reading the Lipstick Alley article, Kendrick Francis has 4 additional children who lived in his home with Takela. At first, I thought it was only 2 children, but they were parents to 6 children. So Kendrick and LaShonda plotted the divorce so Takela and 6 kids wouldn't get anything. Since when does a wife of over a decade and children can be left with absolutely no financial support? Takela and her children are entitled to receive spousal and child support for several years. I don't know how the mistress figured this fraud would be a smooth operation. After all, her photo identification, fingerprints, and signatures were mandatory to commit this crime. While watching the news, Takela shared that her husband, in quotes, hasn't contacted her to obtain a divorce or that he filed for a divorce. Out of nowhere, she was learning about this divorce. That was a huge curb. During the interview, she admitted that she would have given the divorce if he asked for it. End of quotes. Takela shared that she never received a subpoena to attend any court proceedings either. Takela stated in quotes, "Upon the paperwork, I couldn't get actual copies of the paperwork due to the fact I had to pay court fees, and the only thing they let me do was to look at the paperwork. And when I saw where it was subpoenaed to, LaShonda Pope's address in Abbeville, Louisiana, which I was in the state of Texas since 2022, and I gathered this information and got an attorney, and the attorney looked at all the information and proceeded with the matter," said Mouton. Takela said, "I feel like I'm on a Lifetime movie," end of quotes. On tape recordings given to the media, the mistress is convinced that she will be next in line to marry Kendrick Francis. Too bad, because he is still married according to the state of Indiana. Tequila believed she was in a stable relationship. It was all an illusion, being a couple, married for nearly 12 years with kids. Now everything she sacrificed for is gone. My question is, how is a grown woman so desperate to get married? LaShonda Pope, number one, dated a married man. Number two, committed a federal crime impersonating the wife. She signed documents that will possibly land her in jail for years. And number three, she loses all credibility for her future. Evidently, there are acts to get a man at any cost. It's giving, I will do anything and take any level of a so-called man. This mistress really thinks that going above and beyond for Kendrick will activate his Superman powers to protect and marry her. Why would LaShonda Pope want a man who treats his wife of nearly 12 years like a doormat or less than human? To Kendrick Francis, where is the respect of having a few conversations with your spouse to share your emotions or feelings? In a marriage or relationship, respect is necessary. To tell your partner that your feelings have changed, that you need to leave the relationship and find happiness. Give your spouse respect. To add another level, when there are multiple children, a respectful and responsible man or mature man would make arrangements to provide, spend time, and comfort the children. So Kendrick Francis intended to ghost his wife and children to be with another woman. His children may not even forgive him for this lack of empathy and responsibility. Look at the outcome now. After all of LaShonda Pope's lies and identity fraud, her so-called husband-to-be isn't even divorced. On a bill of information formed in the 15th Judicial District Court for the Parish of Vermilion, State of Louisiana District Attorney Donald L. Landry charges that on or about July 15, 2022, at and in the parish district and state, LaShonda Lachelle Pope did willfully, unlawfully, and intentionally commit the crime of injuring public records by intentional removal, mutilation, destruction, altercation, falsification, or concealment of any record, document, or other thing filed or deposited by authority of law in violation of RS 14-132, first degree injuring public records felony. LaShonda Pope misspelled Tequila's name. She provided an incorrect birth date and address too. LaShonda, according to their attorney, gave false data by incorrectly spelling Tequila's name and pertinent information throughout all the documents. Now that this crime is known, reporters attempted to communicate with Tequila's husband, Kendrick Francis, who hasn't reached out to communicate with her. Additionally, Kendrick hasn't admitted that his mistress committed fraud by pretending or impersonating his wife either. In the end, Tequila firmly stated that she will give her husband his divorce. She has enough dignity to let the heathen go and get what she deserves. I'm sure Tequila has representatives of family court on her side. Kendrick Francis will be held accountable to provide spousal and child support to her. Also, LaShonda Pope will be facing consequences big time. Miss Pope faced an arraignment. She needs to spend a few years in jail. She would also benefit from learning about boundaries. Like Nene Leakes said, closing her legs to married men and having integrity. Lying for a man and ending up in jail is really pathetic. What are your thoughts about this case? Have you ever heard of this type of federal fraud? Please remember to hit the notification bell, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks a million, and stay safe wherever you are.